Hi guys, we're going to go over the topic 9 assessment practice for Envision. So first things first, let's hop into number 1. It says match each expression on the left to an equivalent expression. So first of all, we need to decide what each of these on the left represents. Okay, so let's look at this first one right here. We have 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10. What does that equal?
3/10.
Oh goodness. 3/10. Excellent. Let's look at this next one right here. We have 4/10 plus 5/10. What does that equal? 9/10. Wonderful. And this next one here, we have 2/10 plus 3/10 plus 6/10. We can just break it apart. 2 plus 3 is what? 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. So we have 11/10. And then this bottom one here, 11/10 plus 4/10 is what? 15/10. Excellent. All right, so now we have to decide which one of these kind of matches up. So let's see, do any of these equal 3/10? 5/10 plus 4/10. Does that equal 3/10? No, it doesn't. What does that equal? Oh, but look, I see this one here equals 9/10, so we can go ahead and put a check mark in this box. What about here? 2/10 plus 3/10 plus 6/10. What is that? Yeah, 11/10. And we already found this one right here is 11/10. What about 2/10 plus 1/10? 3/10. That's right. So that is equivalent to this first equation here. And then we have 16/10 minus 1/10 is going to be what? 15/10. Wonderful job. All right, so let's move on to number 2. On Monday, 3/12 of the students went on a field trip. What fraction of the students did not go on the field trip? Explain. So first things first, we need to figure out what is the total number of students written as a fraction form. So if I was going to write the whole student body as a fraction, what would it be? It would be 12/12. Good, because there are 12 equal parts, right? And so now we need to decide how many did not go on the field trip. So what would we need to do? What operation would we do? Addition, subtraction, what? Subtraction, good. So we're going to take 12/12, the whole number, and we're going to subtract 3/12 because that is the number that did go on the field trip. Okay, so now this is just a basic subtraction problem. So what is 12/12 minus 3/12? 9/12. Excellent. So 9/12 of the students did not go on the field trip. All right, let's look at number 3. Riley planted flowers in some of her garden. Then she planted vegetables in 2/8 of her garden. Now 7/8 of Riley's garden is planted. What fraction of Riley's garden is planted with flowers? How much of her garden is not planted? Okay, so there are several things that we need to look at when we are solving this problem. First things first, it tells us how much of her garden is planted. How much of her garden is planted? 7/8 of her garden is planted. That's right. Now, how much of her garden did she plant in flowers? Did it tell us? No, it just says she planted flowers in some of her garden. But did it tell us how much of her garden was planted in vegetables? Yes, it did. It told us that she planted 2/8 of vegetables in her garden. So how could we solve this equation to figure out the number of, or the fraction of flowers? Yes.
We could do 2/8 minus 7/8.
That we could do 7/8 minus 2/8, right? Because we know 7/8 is the total amount, is the total amount that she has planted, and 2/8 of that is going to be vegetables. So let's solve that. 7/8 minus 2/8 is what? 5/8. Excellent. So 5/8 of her garden is going to be planted with flowers. So I see this one right here has 5/8 of her garden, but we're not completely done with this problem. It also says how much of her garden is not planted. So we already know her garden is divided into how many equal pieces? 8 equal pieces, right? So the whole garden would be 8/8. And so since she planted 7/8, we know that 1/8 of her garden is not planted. Okay, so our final answer would be D. Yes. All right, let's look here at number 4. Select all of the expressions that show a way to decompose 7/8. Now remember, when we decompose fractions, we're just breaking that up into addition equations just to show different ways to make a fraction. Okay, so let's go through each of these. 3/8 plus 3/8 is what?
6/8.
6/8. Does that equal 7/8? No, so that can't be it. Skirt. Let's look at the next one. 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 5/8.
Yes.
Yeah, 5 plus 1 is 7. And our denominator stays the same when we're adding fractions. Let's look at this next one. 3/4 plus 4/4. No, at first glance, it might seem like this could possibly be an option because 4 plus 3 is 7. But we have to remember to check our denominators, okay? The denominator is not the same, so it is not an option. All right, let's look at the next one. 1/8 plus 3/8 plus 3/8. Yes, 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7, and the denominator is 8. So we know that is also an option. Let's look at this final one here. 1/8 plus 2/8 plus 3/8 plus 1/8. Let's double check. 1 plus 2 is what? 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. And the denominator is 8. So that is also a way that we can decompose 7/8. Okay? Let's move on to number 5. Which equation is not true when 4/12 is the missing number? Meaning, if we were to put 4/12 in these little boxes, which of these equations is not true? Okay? It's important that we recognize it says not true. So let's look here. 3/12 plus 4/12. What will that equal?
7/12.
7/12. So is that one true?
Yes.
Yes, it is. 3/12 plus 4/12 equals 7/12. That is not our option. So let's look here at 16/12 minus 4/12. What is 16/12 minus 4/12? Let's think about it. I'm going to rewrite it here. So I'm going to have 16/12 minus, y'all just pretend that I can write pretty on here, minus 4/12. And when we add and subtract, remember we only work with the numerator. So what is 16 minus 4? 12, right? So this turns out to be 12/12. And we know that anytime a fraction has a numerator and a denominator that is the same, this fraction is equivalent to what? 1 whole. So is B correct? Yes, it is. 16/12 minus 4/12 does in fact equal 1. Let's look at letter C. 1 and 1/12 plus 4/12. Now, is there a whole number in front of the box right here? No, there's not. There is nothing listed right here. Okay, so all we're going to be adding is the numerators. So 1/12 plus 4/12 is what? 5/12, right? 1/12 plus 4/12 is 5/12. There's not a whole number in front of this 4/12, so 1 plus nothing does not equal 5, right? So that leads me to believe that letter C is incorrect. It's not true. I don't want to stop here though. I want to double check and make sure that this last one right here is going to like fit into the right criteria. So 1 and 5/12 minus 4/12. There's no whole number, so we have 1 minus 0 equals 1. And then we'll do 5/12 minus 4/12, which is what? 1/12. Good. 5 minus 4 equals 1. So this is a true equation. Okay, let's look here at number 6. Zoe had 3 1/8 feet of orange ribbon. She used some ribbon to make a bow for a gift. Now she has 1 3/8 feet of ribbon left. How much orange ribbon did Zoe use? Use the model to write an equation and solve. All right, so first of all, what operation are we going to use? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Subtraction, excellent. And what will my subtraction equation say? Go ahead.
3 1/8 minus 1 3/8.
Excellent. We're going to have 3 1/8 minus 1 3/8. So we could also use this number line here, but that's not always necessary. We don't have to do that. Okay? So when we are subtracting mixed numbers, we know that we subtract the whole numbers and then subtract the fractions. But I'm looking at this fraction right here, and I notice that 1/8 minus 3/8 is not something that we can do, right? So we need to regroup. We need to rename this first fraction. To do that, we're going to take away 1 from the whole number, okay? So if I take, I'm going to draw an arrow so I can move down here. I'm going to take away 1 from the whole number. So 3 minus 1 is what? 2. But now I can't just get rid of that 1 that I took away. I have to put it back into the fraction, right? So I'm going to take that 1 whole and I'm going to rewrite it as a fraction equal to 1. And I said earlier that a fraction is equal to 1 if the numerator and the denominator are the same number. So what would my fraction need to be in order to equal 1? 8/8. Okay, so if I look up here, my denominator is 8, and I'm trying to keep it all the same, right? So 2 8/8 is the same as 3, okay, because this is saying 2 plus 1 whole, right? So now we need to add in this 1/8. So 2 8/8 plus 1/8. What does that give me? 2 wholes and 9/8. So yes, I see this is an improper fraction, but we are using this to help us subtract. This is the same as regrouping whenever we're just doing regular old subtraction, okay? So now our new problem is going to be 2 9/8 minus 1 3/8. So now we can follow just our basic steps. We're going to start by subtracting the whole numbers. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then we have 9/8 minus 3/8, which is going to be what? 6/8. Excellent. So Zoe used 1 6/8 feet of orange ribbon. So I'm going to stop the video here. This will be part 1 of our Topic 9 assessment practice, and then I will post part 2 for the second half.